The lantern maker's crooked star. Have you ever tried to make something, like a drawing or a sandcastle, and it didn't turn out as perfect as you had imagined in your head? In a little workshop filled with the smell of paper and starlight, a young boy was about to learn a magical secret about perfect mistakes. In a small village nestled in a valley lived an old lantern maker who was famous for creating the most beautiful paper lanterns in the world. His apprentice was a young boy named Kael, who dreamed of one day making a lantern as perfect as his master's. The most important event of the year was the Starlight Festival, where every family would hang a beautiful paper lantern on their porch to help light the way for the magical stardust spirits. This year, for the first time, Kael was old enough to make his own lantern for the festival. "It must be perfect," Kael whispered to himself. He chose a beautiful sheet of golden paper. He carefully folded the sides just as the master had taught him. The final and most important step was to cut a tiny, perfect five-pointed star into the paper, which would let the candlelight shine through. He held the sharp cutting tool in his trembling hands. He was so focused on making it perfect, so worried about messing up, that his hand slipped. The cut was wobbly. When he unfolded the paper, he saw his star. It was not a perfect five-pointed star. It had one point that was a little too long and another that was a bit crooked. It was a perfectly imperfect star. Kael's heart sank. "I've ruined it," he cried, his eyes filling with tears. "It's not perfect. It's the worst lantern in the whole world." He was about to crumple the whole thing up. "Let me see," said the old lantern maker, his voice as soft as old paper. He took the lantern and held it up. He didn't frown. He smiled. "Ah," he said, "this is a very special star, a star with character." "But it's crooked," Kael said sadly. "Yes," said the master, "and that is what makes it yours. 1,000 perfect stars all look the same, but a star with a long, brave point that reaches a little further than the others, a star with a funny, wobbly point that looks like it's dancing, that is a star I will remember. The effort you put into it and the love you have for the light, that is the real perfection, my boy." Kael felt a little bit better. That evening at the festival, he hung his lantern on his family's porch. He was very nervous. He saw all the other lanterns with their perfectly cut, identical stars, shining with a steady, uniform light. Then he lit the candle inside his own lantern. A warm golden light shone out through his star, and because of its one long, crooked point, the light it cast on the path below wasn't just a simple circle of light. It was a beautiful, unique shape, like a dancing comet. As the stardust spirits began to float through the village, they all paused in front of Kael's house. They danced and swirled in his lantern's unique crooked light, which seemed to sparkle with more magic than any of the others. Kael stood on his porch, his heart filled with a pride that was warmer than any candle flame. His lantern wasn't the most perfect, but it was the most special. He learned that the true beauty in what we create is not in being flawless, but in the brave, loving, and sometimes wobbly effort we put into making something that is uniquely our own. And while the little apprentice learned that our imperfections can be our greatest strengths, a little girl in a cozy bedroom was learning a very different lesson about what happens to the world while she is fast asleep. Subscribe to Storiella so you don't miss her magical sleepy time adventure